We experience depression and grief because there has been a trauma that has occurred. So, in the past, in this incarnation, or possibly in previous incarnations, your body experienced a trauma. It could have been an abuse, an attack, something shocking, a deep, profound loss. And when we experience a trauma, that trauma, our body and our energetic receptors respond with a survival response. And the survival response, whenever there's a trauma, is to close, to shut down. And that's actually good because it enables us to survive in challenging situations. But our culture, our world, our families have conditioned us to experience a trauma and then be tough, be strong, don't cry, you'll get through this, it'll pass, it's not that big a deal, it's your fault, whatever the response might be, which then creates an even bigger trauma. So then we do an even bigger close on these energetic receptors and actual physical receptors as well, because our physical body mirrors what our energetic body is doing. So at some point in time, we have all been exposed to trauma. Then the question is, did we allow ourselves, the soul, the body, the teams, to use the energy of grief, to go through a grieving process, which actually helps us heal? And when we're entrenched in depression and also grief, it's because we haven't used the grief for that incredible transformation that can occur that then prevents depression. So, grief is incredibly powerful because it's got this frequency, this vibration. It's almost like a current or a water that enables us, when we conjure the grief after a trauma, the grief energy, we almost want to think of it like going into the receptors and cleaning out any of the discordant energy that we just picked up, that we just got traumatized by. So, an example would be being physically or sexually attacked. When somebody attacks us, then they break those receptors, they damage the receptors because they come in without permission. And then their energy actually gets stored like a residue in our receptors. And so it's gotten dirty, essentially. And then with the trauma, we close the receptors. So now that dirty energy is locked in the cells and the energetic fields. So now we feel dirty, traumatized, can't clean it. So we use the grief to actually come in and open the receptors, clean those receptors, heal and repair those receptors, which then enables the receptors to open to be able to receive appropriate energetic information. And when we think about depression and serotonin, the like Prozac is a mechanism or a drug that keeps the receptors, the synapses open for a longer period of time so that maybe we can receive some of that serotonin. So at a biology level, we're thinking, okay, serotonin helps us feel good and happy, but if our receptors are closed, we can't receive that serotonin. We might not be able to transmit it. We might not be able to relay it. So at an energetic level, we have to repair the cells, the energy in the cells, the synapses, the receptors, and we're going to dive into that deeper. But just start pondering the idea that grief is a primary mechanism that helps you open, clean, repair, heal, align, balance, open those receptors, stabilize them to be able to receive appropriate frequencies. But if we've had lots of trauma, then we're going to have a big resistance to going into the grief, using the grief to heal, open, clean, and align, because it's not safe to open. So it would actually be stupid to open those receptors if you've had multiple traumas. And so what we have to do before we go to the grief process We actually have to invite, and there's an energetic protocol for this that I'll share in a moment. We have to invite the body and the soul rider to begin activating the sounds, the light, energetic codes, vibrations of safety and clarity in every cell, within every synapse, within every single receptor. Because if you and your body are holding the vibration of safety and clarity, then you will call in situations that are safe. You'll also have clarity to discern when to be open, when not to be open. But you're allowing yourself to be open to receive your own vibrations that are totally safe, incredibly healing, the serotonin at a physical level, joy, light, love, your gifts, your wisdom, and your mastery. So, another layer that comes in too, when we've had a lot of trauma and we go into depression and the receptors close and we haven't used the grief to open, clean, heal, repair those receptors, is when those receptors are closed and we're not able to receive our own light, our own gifts, our own love for our own self, we then start to create a cycle of low self worth, possibly self hatred, self loathing, low self confidence, and high levels of critic. So then we're using all of our creative energy to be in the critic energy, beating ourselves even more. And then that keeps us even deeper in the depression cycle. So it's important to understand the why and then also the how of the solution. And I'm just going to take a moment and kind of recap that. Grief, mechanism for healing depression. Depression happens because of a trauma that we haven't used grief to heal. And on some level, I want to like come up with a new word other than grief. It's like rain, water, a cleansing current, tears. We need to use tears to heal that receptor, to clean the trauma off of it in order to open the receptor and then receive the light, hold the safety and the clarity inside ourselves, in every cell, every aspect of our being, and then be in that state of flow and joy. So that's just a little overview of the depression and the grief. Now we're going to go more into the specifics, I think first of depression and then the specifics of grief, and then we'll bring in energetic processes for that.